Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on PharcydeTv. My co-host Jeremy Scipio is out there in them tour streets, putting in his work, but it's all good because I got OG Von Roberts right here, man. Very interesting guy, comedian, and been putting it down for a while. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Shouts out to Jeremy at the mothership over in Austin, killing it.
Yeah. He was he was basically like man, I'm gonna try to make it. I want to make it, but it just might be one of them things. So I get it, man. I get it.
Hey, when Joe Rogan calls, you just go, man.
And that's a fact. You know. literally, man.
$100 million saying that's why you should do
it. Hey. So what's up, OG Von, man? It's been quite some time. Last time I talked to you, I hit you up and you was like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm in Europe right now, man. I'm gonna have to get right back with you, man.
So I was just in Europe like a couple of months ago and I made some nice business connections and it was cool. And now I got a little team. I got my crew, my LMG guys. Shouts out to them. Dejan Alford, who's a comedian out of Jersey, and then PK Mackey, who's a comedian now based in Los Angeles from the East Coast also. Now I got yeah, man, we just moving like that. We got some projects. We got some deals working. And we just did a taping with Brick TV, which is a streaming platform, Black owned, from the East Coast, based out of the East Coast as well. And then we also working with Nam TV for the unapologetically funny series that they got coming, that they got a exclusive deal with Tubi. So we trying some things out, man, and seeing how everything works out.
That's cool. So it's been a while since you done tapped in.
I want
to catch everybody up to who you are. So we're gonna tap into a little bit of it. So what city are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, man. I'm from South Central. But you know what's crazy is I spent a lot of time on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So people, when they see me do stand-up and I don't say anything about my origin, they just automatically go, oh, he's from New York. What borough is he from?
Oh, okay.
He must be from, and then I'll be like, yo, I did used to live in the Bronx, but I'm from South Central. And then they'd be like, oh, I knew he was from the Bronx. I knew it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
What part of South Central?
37th in Vermont, which used to be like a blood hood. It used to be for 20s and Fruitown Brim. And then next thing you know, USC pushed us all out. So now it's Indian students walking up and down the street. So
oh man, it's so crazy around there. Like I'll tell you something even crazier, man. Somebody had the vision maybe 15 years ago to bring soccer to the sports arena and Coliseum. I'm not sure which one it is, but when they have soccer games over there, man, it's gridlock on Fig, Vermont, Vern, that whole little area is ridiculous.
That whole little area is on lock, man. That new soccer stadium, it got it on sewn up, and ain't nothing you could do about it, baby.
Hey man, it's dope. I had a couple semi-pro soccer guys work for me, and I had to kind of break down at my warehouse like off season. And it's crazy because like they definitely didn't work with me for the money, but the guys who were semi-pro, they have a certain level of passion, and like in my environment, it kind of like it's like, it's not a harsh environment, you know what I'm saying? So you can kind of come, don't have to dress a certain way. I'm not tripping off it too much as long as you just do your thing. But I had these guys coming and they were just like, man, I just, when I'm not playing, I just like to train and work and do something that gives me a little flexibility. And so that was kind of like the reason. And I say that to say that like my man Inky Johnson says, you cannot counterfeit passion, man. Either you about it or you're not about it. Either you showing up or you're not showing up. It don't matter if there's one person in the audience or it's 500 people in the audience. It's, you're the same cat.
Bro, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, I perform the same way in front of 5 people as I do in front of 100 or 200, 300, 400 people. I deliver my jokes the same way, and I try to connect the same way, because, you can't cheat those people out of a show. And we're in a business where every person counts.
Yeah.
So every person, you got to do well, and you got to connect with them. So even if they remember, even if that night was weak and they caught you on a weak ass night, they'll come back. They'll see it's popping, and they'll have an even better time than they did before. But the fact of the matter is that they came back.
Yeah.
You got to get them to come back, man. And especially in this day and age where there's so much entertainment, and as a comedian, you really gotta be on top of your game, and you really gotta shine, and you gotta get people to fall in love with your personality, or at least agree with it.
Yeah. Jeremy kind of brought me into contemporary comedy. Like before that, I was just like, I watched a couple movies, contemporary kind of movies here or there, but I didn't have like a contemporary favorite comedian or something like that. But I was just like old school Richard Pryor, just like kind of red, just like all that stuff. But it's interesting because I had an experience with a comedian that I saw him in movies. And so in my mind, I had it totally confused. I was like, well, okay, a person that can say a couple slick lines in a movie who's a comedian, when they get on stage, you're going to get that same, you're just going to get the same, not, me just not understanding the two different art forms or just whatever. And so I was interviewing comedian Stevie J. Well, Jeremy and I, we're interviewing Stevie J.
That's my guy.
He brought some light to me, man, that changed my whole situation. He was like, and the funny thing, he knew the comedian exactly who I was talking about. And I really go hard not to say who he is, because a lot of people love him, you know what I'm saying? But it was just the night that I saw him, he was doing a live taping, and he said the same joke like 3 times and couldn't get it right. And then he was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna go on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? And it just really like, it did something to me. But Stevie J put it in context. He said, okay, he said, man, comedians got the hardest job. We don't have a DJ. We don't have a hype man. We don't have dancers. We don't have all this. And when we get up in front of you, our job is to tell jokes, and hopefully, you receive them or whatever. And he was like, man, if LeBron misses a shot, if Kobe missed shots, if all these people, do whatever, why can't you allow a comedian to miss a shot? I was kind of like, dang, I didn't even look at it like that. You know what I'm saying?
The pressure's on, bro. You gotta be funny. And the cold part about it is when you build in that fan base makes it harder to do your strongest material. Because they fall in love with it. So they're waiting to hear you say those jokes. And sometimes sometimes unknowingly they'll start laughing before the punch comes. You'd be like, you're giving away that is about to be funny. They'll ruin the surprise, like, because they hear that joke online, because now we're in a space where to get fan bases at a large quantity and level, you have to have an internet presence.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to surprise the people that fall in love with you on the internet by not posting your stand-up. Because a lot of people have built an internet presence on something else, whether it's sketches, whether it was them just talking into the phone. So when they get people to come to their show, those people are expecting that same personality. But if they don't get it, then they're gonna be like, okay, now they're puzzled. You know what I mean? Because they're expecting you to be the same way you are online. That was one of the massive issues with like comedians like Just Hilarious, Haha Davis. They wanted even DC Young Fly. They wanted these people to be the same way that they were on the internet or wilding out. And it's like, yeah, you're my fan base, but I'm here doing something, a different component of the art form. I'm focused on storytelling, wordplay, and telling you jokes and describing scenarios to you and making them funny and embellishing on them and really getting into the act, really doing my one-man show without any additives. So when you have people fall in love with certain things, certain aspects of you, you have to also online, you have to put those things on there to make them understand that, yo, this is what you're gonna get when you come through. But I also can't put my best jokes on there because then I gotta come up with new shit every day for you. You muted, baby.
You got me. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I had a little something loud in the background going on. But you know who's the king when it comes to internet comedy translating to a stage presence? Man.
Ooh. I want to hear what you got to say.
Country Wayne.
No,
I'm gonna tell you.
Country Wayne is awesome and he's amazing at what he does. And he does everything that a comedian is supposed to do. He caters to his fan base. Mm-hmm. And he's amazing when it comes to comedy business. You know what I mean? And he sells out. So I don't really have anything to say. I never seen his act, so I don't have any opinion on it. All I know is his Facebook shit and his YouTube shit. He's crazy. He's crazy with the numbers. He's doing his thing, and he built a fan base, and he's reinvesting his money. He's doing all the things that comedians want to do. He's controlling his own destiny too. That's fire.
I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you why his flame drew me in. So he basically took a different version of what 50 Cent has done with the Stars Network, and he's created these novellas behind his characters. So they're like soap operas. And so there's like maybe about 5 or 6 different scenarios that he has that go on, and they're funny. They're funny. So with that being said, it doesn't just revolve around him. He brings personalities in. So he's putting people on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, he did a movie. One of them was based off of one of the series that he did. He made a movie for it. So I know he did an independent film. I don't know if it was that, but I'm not sure, but I think that's what it was. I don't know. I may be wrong, but I know he's done his own Country Wayne movie. He's turning all those people that is a part of his team. He's turning them all to stars. He's basically the same as basically a LaRussell. He's a LaRussell of comedy, because LaRussell does that with his Good Company. Everybody who's affiliated with his Good Company, he's building them up. He's building their social medias. He's making sure they post on time, and he's putting out high quality content, and he's moving with his team. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, and then I'll say that he doesn't have to use a bunch of profanity to be funny.
Oh no, Country Wayne, he knows his audience, man, and he does his thing.
Yeah. So
I've tried. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've tried so many times to like be like, yo, fuck all that. But I can't really say anything because
Yeah.
everything that he's doing, I want to do. So all I could do is just learn from him and sit there,
Hey.
even if the styling is not my cup of tea.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, what that sounds like to me is when it came to artist management, like I could have an artist that can make a song that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop my ear from understanding, oh, that is gonna be like, that's big. You know what I'm saying? That's big. Like, you don't have to like everything. Like, everybody doesn't have to like everything.
That's a fact.
But you know, you got to give credit where, you know, like, man, somebody doing it, you know, they doing it.
And I did, you know what I'm saying? I know, even though I know there's a twinkling of haterism within my congratulations, but you know, that's just me being honest and being 100. Like, that's I have never seen Country Wayne do stand up, and I don't know what he does on stage. I just know that he has his fan base. The motherfuckers, I seen him pull up to the Comedy Store, and that motherfucker was lit. And he don't even live out here. And you barely see him out here. You know what I mean? So that means his internet presence is felt. You know what I'm saying? And he's consistent. You know, with a lot of times, with myself, comedians that, you know, are focused on the craft and not focused on the numbers and not focused on the business aspect of it, but focused on the artistry and not focused on bottling it up as a product, they tend to overthink everything, and that takes away from the consistency and that takes away from the growth. Versus a person like Country Wayne, a person like that's similar to him, a Jahan Jones, who they find their niche, or they find their audience, or they find whatever people gravitate towards online, and they just keep pumping that out. They keep they beat the hell out of a dead horse. They keep pumping it out. And then, you know, their following builds because those people that love what he does share it. They try to make you a fan of what he's doing or what they're doing. So that's how it goes. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm happy for both of them, and they doing their thing. And I want that same for my situation as well, because it's them building a fan base just as strong as a Joe Rogan podcast fan base. You know,
loyal
people are lovers of them. You know,
loyal.
And even me as I'm proud of Tyler Perry as a filmmaker and what he's done. Doesn't mean I will make the same films as him or even try to. That's not even my style, but I love what they're doing over there. You know what I'm saying? I love how he created a bunch of jobs for his people. He made he's a billionaire. He's everything that Black entrepreneurs and Black artists strive to reach. You know what I mean? Without you know, compromising themselves. You know what I mean?
No, excellence for sure. I'll say that I know that they did Coming to America on his property. They did Black Panther on his property. I'm sure they do some other Marvel stuff on his property.
Oh yeah, those guys are Black excellence for real.
Yeah.
Can't do nothing but salute them, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm growing to, you know, that, you know, it's all based off of consistency and sticking to it and not overthinking it. Just it's about completion. And that's been one of the downfalls of most passionate pure blood comedians.
People. It's not even limited to that.
People.
Myself, and you know, I have a ongoing conversation with my business partner, and he's kind of reached a point where he's like, yo, you need to go, you need to do it. And then I'm just like, man, I want it to be this way, I want it to be that way. And then you look at somebody who doesn't even have the capacity that you have, and they're doing, and you're kind of like, well, dang. And they
don't have nothing that you have, and they are kicking ass.
They got heart.
I don't even think it's hard. I think
Nah, it's hard, man. Because
it's not. It's just the idea that they're not overthinking the rollout. Because when it comes to us, we're like, yo, this need a proper rollout. This need this. This need that. The motherfuckers are like, yo, drop it. You're like, ugh. And then everybody likes it and it's working.
It resonates like a mug, and it's like, dang. It's like, oh man. But we're gonna get into just a shot glass of hip hop before I get to that though. So you from like 32nd in Vermont.
37th Vermont. Yeah.
37th. Okay, not second, 7th. So I'll tell you my favorite little restaurant over in that area.
Tell me, man.
La Barca's.
What?
You never mess with La Barca's?
What is that?
It's a Mexican food spot. It's like right almost when you get to the 10 freeway heading.
Oh, you talking about that one right in front of the USC like dormitory thing, right?
No, this is on Vermont. It's on Vermont. So it's like
you talking about that one on the corner, Vermont and Adams.
It's like right over there. Yeah.
Vermont and Adams. That place, yeah. I don't think that shit is called La Barca's.
Well, we might not be talking about the same, but I know Vermont. What I'm talking about is off of Vermont and I want to say Vermont and Adams, but
it's on the corner. That's not La Barca's. It's right next to like a Dairy King or like an ice cream place.
I'm not sure, but it's going towards the freeway though. It's not too far from the 10 though. What I'm talking about is close to the 10. It's like
I know what you're talking about. Is you talking about the Mexican food spot on the corner, or are you talking about that walk-in restaurant right before the 10? Because there's
it's the walk-in restaurant. I'm talking the walk-in.
Okay, yeah, I've been there. I only went in there one time, and that was because they had like a deal on some nachos and salsa, and my people dragged me up in there. I was like,
So when the Pharcyde first kind of got popping, they had rented a house over there. It was the Pharcyde Manor, and so I stayed over there on and off, and so you could just walk to La Barca's. And the funniest thing, man, so we was young, not really having money, but having a little something in our pockets. You know what I'm saying? I always had a job, always got a little hustle on. But it's so funny. La Barca's was the only restaurant that I would drink, like I was cool, I would accept it. Tampico.
What? That you
I said I would accept it because they give you Tampico for orange juice.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Tampico is a tough drink to get through, man.
Nah, you gotta add water to it, man. You really
gotta be poor and down on your ropes to really be fucking with Tampico.
You gotta add water, man. You gotta break the cut, man. That's
you know the cold part is regular stores don't even sell Tampico more. You gotta go to the Mexican spots to get Tampico.
Nah, you can get it food for less. It's a food for less by my house, man.
Food for less? Food for less might as well be a Mexican spot too. What you talking about?
Oh.
Food for less is second rate groceries compared to Albertsons.
I won't leave it just to the Hispanic people because we got everything in there, man. Food be arguing over the collard greens. You going there on the 4th of July? You going there?
Talking about food for less, right? Food for less is one of those places where a white person would hear food for less and they be like, yo, I gotta drive all the way to Trader Joe's, man. Fuck this.
They be in there too, man. They be in there too. I stopped going personally because I was just like, man, it's
good. Last time I went to a food for less, somebody got in a fight in the front.
Man. You've been living over the hill too long, man. That's what that is.
Man.
You used to that
scrapping in front of the front. Like, I was like, yo, man, no more food for less. They was scrapping in front of that one over by Southwest College.
See, you talking about
food for less right there.
Yeah, I'm talking about off of Sepulveda in Vermont, man. I'm not talking about, it's not, you know what I'm saying? You talking about deep in
the trenches over there by
mine ain't deep in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? Mine is on the outskirt of, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference, but I get it. So tell me this. How do you think hip hop influences the world?
Oh, well, hip hop is everywhere, man. Hip hop right now, hip hop controls everything, man. And and it it has had a big influence on me as far as like how I just my persona in comedy is very hip hop. I'm very competitive when it comes to being on stage and following comedians and stuff like that. Is one of the things that drives me is the wordplay. And before I go on stage, I listen to either J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, what's my guy's name? Forgot his name, but Jay-Z. Let me see. This is gonna kill me, man. I gotta find his name. Big L.
Okay.
But I only listen to Big L with him, the freestyle with him and Jay-Z.
I'll tell you about Big L. So, of course, he has some hip hop classics, but see, no one is gonna give him that credit. But he was that rapper rapping hard before dudes was rapping hard. Like, and that's kind of why I didn't connect with him so much, because I just feel like, man, I mean, he had a beat. I think Primo, I want to say Primo had a couple of his cuts that I liked. Primo had produced them, but I just like, man, this dude is just going. Like, man, you know what I'm saying?
I loved it, man. I loved him. And another one I loved that people don't talk about, but he's a great writer and a great lyricist, Sauce Money.
Sauce Money. Yeah.
Him, Sauce Money, MF Doom.
Yep.
And Jadakiss were, and Styles P. Styles P wasn't that clever, but his rawness made you like him.
His solo album is what made me resonate. When he did his
Styles.
Yeah, when he did his solo, and I'll say this, Jadakiss, shame on me, I did not connect with him until I saw him take that whole verses over. You couldn't have bet me. I would have bet 6 house notes, 6 car notes. Dipset would have came in there with that energy, with Jules, with Cameron.
With the swaggy. Well, this is the thing. This is the thing about the swaggy. The swaggy only works when you're able to brew it. It don't work right on the spot. And that's what we saw. We saw the swaggy. The swaggy, you can't get the swaggy on the spot. You got to let them be somewhere cooking it up and going, oh, that's fire if you do this and that. They got to brew it. When it comes to just raw bars, Jadakiss is going to give you that. And he's very clever. I love clever people. One of my favorite lyricists too was Papoose. I love Papoose. Papoose is very clever. I love all the law libraries. I love the A to Z rap. Mm-hmm. that was just, everything about him was just so clever and creative, to the point where people was like, yo, he must have wrote Remy's bars when she was cooking Nicki.
Hey man, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it for sure. So what's your favorite hip hop movie?
My favorite hip hop movie?
Yeah. Don't be shy. We've had Drumline.
No. My favorite hip hop movie has got to be what can I watch? I love the beauty and the grittiness of Paid in Full. I love that, but I also like to laugh too. So I'm gonna go with Paid in Full. Paid in Full. I got 3, man. Paid in Full, Belly, and the Kid and Play series.
Okay, so Belly, we've had Belly come up quite a few times, and dude, Belly was a cinematic movie video.
Yeah, but it was so aesthetically beautiful.
Homegirl walking into the club and the light bouncing off of her, like the way that they made the light bounce off of her dark skin. That was just like
nobody had ever seen no shit like that.
No, that's you read my mind. You read my mind. It was like
in slow motion too. They made black people look beautiful in the most grittiest lighting ever.
Yeah.
That whole movie can let you know how music videos in the 90s look. Because the nigga director, I think it was Director X, right?
I can't. No. It was
Hype Williams.
Yeah.
Hype Williams was the king of music videos in the 90s, late 90s, going into the 2000s.
Where he lost me, it was two parts of the movie, and I'm gonna move on, that he lost me. Nas going back to Africa and getting shot in the barbershop. It was kind of like, huh? And then, man, DMX should have got something, man. He should have got some award for the comedy when he had the dreadlock wig on and he was and he did the walk by, man. Them two parts right there.
You know what? I'm gonna have to. I think what he was trying to show was it's okay, it's a certain personality, right? With the drug dealers, you have the drug dealer who loves it, and you have the drug dealer who gets so tired of it that they want to change their life, and they think that going to another country would bring them a fresh start. So for that, I agree with it, because I've seen those type of people before. You know what I mean? Growing up, where it's the person who either goes to jail and, you know, and then they change their frame of mind, and everybody's their brother and all this other shit, or they've seen so many things and almost been killed so many times, or somebody that they cared about has almost been killed, that they just like, yo, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to go and be somewhere where hopefully it's on some positivity shit. It's not tainted by the white man. But a lot of people don't know is that it's bad over there too. And they don't like American niggas. So when you go over there, they like your style, but they don't like you.
No, they like the pop version. They like the pop, so one thing that I learned, and I've traveled quite a bit, but one thing that I learned by traveling the world a little bit was that America's their number one commodity is pop culture.
Facts.
So Coca-Cola, Michael Jackson, Prince, breakdance, just whatever, like our stuff, for whatever reason, is interesting to other countries. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But because it's interesting to them does not mean when we're off that. So I've been, let's say I've gone somewhere where there was a show going on, a hip hop show, and flown in, car service, just whatever, just treat it cool. You know what I'm saying? And then I've had an off day where I was like, man, I'm gonna go and check out something in the city because I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I want to go and check it out, and just the love, like it was just not the, that. So the off day of me checking out something in the city, that was the more like, as if Ice Cube would say, this is how they really feel about you. You know what I'm saying? Right. When you're not making money for them,
Yeah, Nipsey said when he went over there and he stayed to visit his father, he got into so many fist fights because people, they just didn't like him. They didn't like what he represented. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They loved it, but they also disliked it too because they felt like, I don't know. But it's weird though, because they try to emulate it so much, but they still don't like when you bring it, or maybe it's jealousy. I don't know what it is,
man. So it's interesting because when you were talking about the Nas and kind of like the storyline of Belly, the first thing that kind of popped into my mind was one of the last scenes of The Wire when Marlo was standing on the street corner and the little kid shot him. And he was like, he kind of like grabbed himself and he looked at the blood and he laughed. You know what I'm saying? He laughed, and Marlo was just like one of the most gangsters cats ever in The Wire. You know what I'm saying? And he looked at the blood in his hand, he laughed, but that was at the point where he was like, you know what? I want to clean money up. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to just, you know what I'm saying, get away from the gangster stuff for a minute. So that's dope. So and then I'm gonna say this and move on to the next question. But a hip hop movie that don't get no love, man, Black and White. It was like the story. It was a story of Wu-Tang.
Oh,
Had Mike Tyson grabbed Robert Downey Jr. by the neck.
Yeah.
It was choking him out. It had Brooke Shields, Robert Downey Jr., Quincy Jones's daughter, Kadada. You know what I'm saying? Raekwon Ghost. It was, that was dope. So
yeah, I didn't get into that one like that. I like Ghost Dog more than
oh man.
Oh shit.
You gotta let the however old you are right now go back and watch that. You'll be like, dang, oh yeah, you gotta go back and give it a shot, man. So when was the first time you can remember making someone laugh?
Let me think. I believe elementary school. But okay, so consciously and actually knowing what I'm doing, I would say middle school. Middle school is when I knew what to do to like get somebody to be like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Nah, that's
things to say to get them to like laugh and be on some stuff. And I was super animated with it. I wasn't as cerebral, but I knew what to do and what to say. You know what? It was elementary school, because I remember being in front of my cousins and then just walking in front of the TV as I was playing a game and interrupting them and doing all types of stupid stuff. So.
Okay. Nah. Well, you know, we have somebody in the chat, man, a John Sullivan Smith, and he was a fan of Ghost Dog. But I hate to tell people what they need to be doing, but John, you need to give Black and White a chance too, man. That's my little homework assignment for the three people.
I told you, man, Ghost Dog was hard. Ghost Dog was a unique.
It was funny.
You said Ghost Dog was funny?
What? Forrest Whitaker with them cornrows going back. Come on, man. He should have won an award for them cornrows alone, man.
Them cornrows did need to go to hell, but still, it was a good movie, and it kept the whole energy of Wu-Tang, like where they was using Eastern philosophy to describe this, the way his train of thought, the way he was thinking and everything, which was hard.
All right, I'll take a slice of that. What job gave you the best life experience?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I worked at this warehouse, and it was the first time. No, it wasn't the first time, but it was the first time I had worked with a Black man who had cared about my well-being, and promoted me being the best version of myself. And shouts out to Fred Stallworth. That's his name. His name was Fred Stallworth. He was in the military, and he just, he always would give me a task and allow me to figure out how to do it.
Okay. I could take a slice of that. When did you realize you wanted to be a comedian?
When I just love to make people laugh, and I like to share ideas. Right. So I always like to conversate and share ideas, and sometimes that leads to me directing conversations. Where you ever talk to somebody who they take over a conversation, and then the conversation goes just wherever it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was with my cousin and my barber, and this was way back in 2010 or 2010, 2009, and they were like, yo, you need to do this. And I still didn't care. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And I did it. And I got the best response ever. And they set it up because they had pool, whatever. And I got paid for that performance. And it was the first time I ever performed. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what is set up. And I was talking. I was in the pocket, and I was talking about my day, and I was talking in the rhythm, and I did it. I don't remember what I was talking about, and I didn't record myself. So I was, all I remember is they called me on the phone, and I came back, I think, a week later to pick up that check. And I was like, oh shit.
Hey, sounds all right to me.
Yeah. So it wasn't about the money. It was more so about like the energy and the feeling that I got from it, and how happy everybody was that I did it. And that when I got off stage and the show was over, how happy everybody was to come up to me and tell me about what I was talking about. And I didn't even remember what I was talking about then. I was like, oh yeah, you liked it? Yeah, that's cool. But whatever that was that got me into the game disappeared for a while, nigga, because I went on a string of bombs, nigga. I was dying left and right. I didn't know. I was like, what am I? Nigga, and I was dying in front of important people too. People was trying to give me opportunities. I was getting fucking whacked.
So, hey man, that's just, shoot, man, that's just what it is. Your top 3 comedians.
My top 3 comedians?
No particular order.
Well, Patrice O'Neal is one of them. George Carlin, old George Carlin is in there.
Yeah.
Because I say old George Carlin because there's a difference between his contemporary young self and the old version of him when he was on his last leg, his last special. Those are the clips that circulate online where he's talking about the government, and he is, bro, if he's educating everybody, and he's doing it not for the benefit of laughter, but just for them to know. He wants you to know the truth. He wants you to know that you're in a controlled environment that you can't get out of.
Yeah, man. I would say that I mean, we on it, but YouTube is one of the greatest. YouTube and social media are like the greatest ongoing social experiments ever. And the content has boiled down to even gangbangers, you know what I'm saying? And it's the craziest thing ever. But there's a need. I won't say there's a need. I'll just say we as people socially we look for content. We look for
Oh,
something,
facts.
you know, we're searching. And then with YouTube and the algorithms, all you got to do is just like being on Google. All you got to do is look up one thing and it's gonna
It's gonna take you down a rabbit hole. But it's another thing that it does too that is very sad is that any thought that could change the world, it takes that thought and it waters it down. It allows people to manipulate it. And then that thought is not pure no more, nor does it have the same effect that it would have had if you had to hear it from the person who delivered it.
Okay. You're hitting down
because somebody says something and it can be life-changing for everybody. But then the forum gets it, and the forum manipulates the thought. They attack the thought instead of letting the thought resonate. And then there can be no new philosopher, there can be no new Malcolm X, because they start to tear at the idea. And then you end up in a stalemate, and you end up right where you were before, with no action, no activity, no growth.
I really don't think people trying to grow, man. I think the idea and the concept of growth and positive thinking and evolution is great, but I think people are comfortably uncomfortable, man, and they with it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. But I'm saying with the reason why that is because of the idea of you not having nowhere else to go.
Okay. Yeah,
so that's what I mean by the forum gets it. The forum gets it, and then it goes, well, what about this? You can't do that. If you do this, then this. Just like with the strike. I like the strike. I like the conversation of the SAG and the WGA strike, because it gets to let you see what it really boils down to. At first, it was about the fight against AI. It was with that. Now it's about the fight. Now it's turning into the fight for somebody else's comfortability. Remember when Monique, remember we talked about Monique. Yeah. Monique argued the same points. I can't live off of that. You can't give me that. I won this award. I won that. I'm a veteran. You owe me more money. And it was like, people were like, I'm not going against Netflix for you, Monique. Remember, we were all calling her stupid, all these different things.
But you know, the thing about it, and it's funny you say this, I'm not having a moment as touching as the Stevie J moment, but you do have me rethinking something. It was Monique's delivery. It wasn't her message was like her message. You saying it right now in my mind, just like rerunning it through the whole little situation and being away from it. We've evolved several years and whatnot. Her message wasn't necessarily whack. It was her delivery. And then she kind of was like the mad black woman. And then it's like, if you're the mad black woman, no one's going to listen. Like it's just like the mad black man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That loses.
Yeah.
Whatever your point is lost. And somebody's looking at you go off and just whatever, and you're just dismissed.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. What did all those people say? Especially white people. They were like, well, she should have read her contract, or why don't she just take the money and then do well and then come back and renegotiate? Why is she doing this? Why is she using this? Why is she throwing Amy Schumer's name in there? Why is she doing? Well, it was a lot of that. But now we're arguing about people collecting residuals and being mad that they can't live and they have to live like poor people, and they're trying to rally poor people to argue for them or to fight with them, to stand with them. And it's like, yo, we don't give a fuck. I'm at work at 5 a.m. right now.
Hey.
I don't give a fuck about you not being able to send your kid to private school.
Not being able to get millions. You over here, they trying to give you a little bit of bread. You over here going crazy about you not getting millions.
And you talking about you got 2 jobs. I don't believe you. If you do got 2 jobs, you know what counts as 2 jobs? Either Uber Eats, Uber this, or fucking you doing some little survey shit online. Those count as jobs too. And that is not conducive to what a person, you can't tell a person to fight for you to get residuals, to fight a big corporation for you to get more money so you can live good while niggas are living check to check. Do you not know that 70% of the world is poor?
Yeah, she just, like I said, she got emotional and her message was lost.
You know who I was talking about? The one who was snot balling on the internet today. The girl from Nickelodeon or whatever. She was on the internet.
Raven Simone?
No, not Raven Simone. Raven Simone wouldn't do no weird shit like that. It was the girl from the show, from the Nickelodeon show, All That, I believe, or some show like that. But either way, you haven't seen her in a long time. She was a child actress, and it's like, yo, just like we have to live by our choices, and you have to live by yours. You was getting those residual checks. You should have been taking a financial classes. You should have been budgeting. Somebody should have told you, don't start a family. It's just like somebody saying, yo, I'm tired of waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I got a family. I got this. I mean, it's just like seeing it's online panhandling. It's just like when you see that lady on the side of the road and she got her kids sitting on in the lazy boy chairs and she's talking about, I need food, I need money. You're like, what? Go get a job. Get them kids out that hot ass sun off that corner.
Hey, I got homeboys that live with girls, and so they'll complain sometimes or just whatever, and I say like, hey man, that's the price I live by myself, but I say like, hey man, that's the price you pay for snuggling up to something warm every night. You know what I'm saying? You over there. Hey man, that's the price you pay for a meal being pushed in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You able to curl up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's the fee.
In-house hugs cost.
Hey, yeah. So tell me this, man. What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent?
Yep.
I'm able to. My hidden talent.
Make a smash burger.
You stupid. No, I get a hidden talent. Oh man. You know what? I can sew. A lot of people don't know I can sew, and I can make pants from scratch.
All right.
And shoes too.
Oh wow, shoes. That's a good one.
Yeah, I can make shoes from scratch.
All right. What job would you like to do other than telling jokes?
Bro, I'm in the real world, and
he said the real world.
The real world, and I would like to just do a job that you know what? I would love to be a psychologist / therapist / counselor. I would love to do those things because it would give me an opportunity to really talk to people and really try to help them, rather than, because this is the thing. A lot of counselors and therapists, they after the bread. They gonna keep you coming back because that's how they get paid. They get paid based off of more sessions, man. That's why nobody will ever be cured. You'll never be all right. There is no cure for you not wanting to be better. So they're just a listening ear. And that sucks, man. That sucks.
All right.
People are promoting therapy and all this other stuff. They're promoting you going to talk to these people, and these people don't have your best interests in heart.
I'll say it depends on who, man. I've dealt with life coaching, I've dealt with a couple therapists or whatever, and it's funny because, like, you know, one thing about my therapists are always like, man, I love to hear your story. Like,
Yeah.
but no, but Pete, that'll have me looking at them like, well, dang, who's getting more out of this? You know what I'm saying? Am I getting more? Am I
Bro,
getting more? Or are you getting more? You know what I'm saying?
bro, I am a fan of journaling. I'm a fan of
Yeah.
self-reflection. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of evaluating yourself and your decisions.
Calibrating. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people, if they calibrated, they wouldn't have to go and talk to somebody else about their issues and expose themselves.
But you know what? A sounding board is always good. Whether it's a woman, whether it's for, you know, whatever, like a sounding board.
Of course it's good. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's only good after you've come to terms with it enough to be okay to reveal it to anybody. Because then you can get real advice, because it's not based off an incentive. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'll give you a good one. My life coach, he said something to me that was so cold, man. He was like, every story is going to have value until you bankrupt it. You know what I'm saying? And when you bankrupt it, then it doesn't have any more. Like, when something's bankrupt, it doesn't have value to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I was just kind of like, dang. And he's like, nah, people are going to hold on to their point of view. They're going to hold on to how they feel, like all that, until that thing doesn't have value anymore. And then once it doesn't have either the same value or it has less value, then you reevaluate it. You know what I'm saying? And then you're open to different things. But yeah, that's something. So Jeremy and I have this long going conversation because I happen to think Black Adam is one of DC's dope. I've seen it like 12 times. You know what I'm saying?
You see my eyes as soon as you brought him up, I was like,
yeah, man, I'm Black. But you know the funny thing about it, as I watched Black Adam for the 12th time, I called Jeremy. And I said, you know what, man? I think you might have something, man. It might not be one of the greatest movies in the world, and it might.
Why did you watch it 12 times, bro?
You know what? I like the special effects. That's what it came down.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what the 12th time. That's what I got, because I was like, well, because The Rock is like he's just one line. It's like one line, like literally like a bunch of one lines is what.
You know what else? You know what else I thought would have attracted you? Is the fact that that's the closest thing you'll get to a Black Superman ever.
You're right. I didn't even look at it like that, but you're right. You're right. And he didn't bow down. He did not bow down.
Not bow down to no one. That's the closest thing you'll ever get to a Black Superman. And this is another thing. There are no promoted, super-powered Black superheroes.
You know who's dope? And I'm still okay. You know, we're gonna go to that, but I'm gonna ask you this question first: Marvel or DC?
Marvel for the stories and the movies. I don't even know what I would go to DC for. I like DC's cartoons.
Oh man, Cyborg.
I despise that. You know why? Because Cyborg represents to me that it's their promoted Black superhero. He defies all stereotypes. He's smart, but he's the weakest. He's weak because he's only valuable if there's technology around. If there's no technology, he's gonna get his ass whooped. He's gonna die.
Okay, so
he's easy. He's the most easiest person to beat up. If there ain't no computers, no missiles that he can throw at you, no type of things he can manipulate because of the motherboard that's within him, then he's trash. But Superman, Batman, they're good in any weather.
The Vapor said Spawn. The Vapor said Spawn.
Oh, Spawn is, I love Spawn, but Spawn's not part of the DC universe, is he?
I know. Yeah, that's
Spawn, and the other thing about it is Spawn had to go to hell to get powers. So like, come on.
they make us do so much, man.
They make us do so much, man. We gotta die to get powers, nigga.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta,
Like they're like they don't promote. I'm telling you, bro. They're only like the Blue Beetle. They love all these other ethnicities have super, not even just look at all the, like you look at all the superheroes, the way they got everything set up, their superhero situations are racist. White man gets to have superpowers, and if he don't have superpowers, his willpower is so powerful, he could defy any type of situation. Batman, Captain America. Black man becomes Captain America. All he's got is those weak ass wings and that shield. He don't get no superpowers. He can't defeat nobody for real. And he has to be super strategic on how he does things. Black man has superpowers. Luke Cage, let's say Luke Cage. He has superpowers. He never leaves out of his hood. Stays where he is.
Nah, but that's kind of admirable though too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Okay, so if you know what that means that his hood is so trash that his powers are not he's so weak that his hood still thinks that they could take him. He, like, if Superman in Metropolis.
Yeah, nah, he ain't gonna be scrapping every day. You know what I'm saying?
He's not gonna be scrapping every day. Luke Cage is scrapping every day.
Anybody.
They think they can take him.
Anybody and everybody.
They think they can still take him. Nobody does Batman like that. Batman don't scrap every day. What happens is the beastie niggas get away from Arkham, and then he has to catch them niggas and whoop them up again and then put them back in there. And the only reason they still exist is because for some reason he has a heart to where he don't want to kill niggas. But if he was as dark as they try to paint him to be, there would be no villains in Gotham. Niggas would be dead. Because he's beat them all to a pulp, every last one of them.
All right. No, I could take that. That was an interesting one. Your most iconic moment.
My most iconic moment. A lot of people didn't know this, but I used to open for Bone Thugs and Harmony doing stand. So I think I received that blessing too early to really like change it into something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It was a blessing I received, and I just rode the wave. I didn't try to capitalize off it or put myself in a bigger situation, which I could have.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you be in a situation where you're just happy to be in it and you're just there, you're just enjoying it. You're not making connections. You're not putting your place in. You're not thinking about the future. You're just in that moment and you're chilling and having a good time and hanging out. You're not talking about the future. You're not doing anything that can make you permanent. That situation. You know what I'm talking about. That situation.
But that's like, man, that's what's so much, man. And you know, I'll say you call it God, you could say you call it the universe or whatever. But what I've learned is having opportunities is only a very small part of it. You got to be ready for it. You can't, if you think of it in terms like I look at stuff like this. God could give you, or the universe could give you that wave to surf, right?
Yeah.
But you can't be in your car drinking a brew, blowing a J, and then you see the wave, and then you're like, okay, let me go to my trunk and put on my wetsuit. Now let me borrow somebody's surfboard real quick. Now let me dog paddle out there to the wave. Right. You got to be out there.
Out there already.
With them waves.
As soon as the wave starts hitting, you got to be pedaling towards it.
Man.
And that's where I was, bro. I see, this is the thing. I've never had a mentor in comedy. And by the time that I started getting getting people interested in telling me things or giving me tips, it didn't matter anymore because I was gonna do what I was gonna do regardless. And that's the fucked up part about it is in my experience with comedy is I didn't get a mentor. I got a whole bunch of rivals.
Oh shoot.
And I had to learn shit from my goddamn colleagues. Would you have it? Guys that were in the same position as me. I had to learn from them. I had to learn from my sides. Like, oh, Jeremy, what did you do in this situation? Oh, you know what I mean? People that I would call my equals versus learning from to avoid pitfalls from a bigger veteran comedian. I end up versing these guys.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? And it's not even a good versus either. Is me and I'll follow them at a I'll go before them or I'll go after them at a fucking hole in the wall club, and then I'll dog them out, or not even intentionally, but I'll just do well, and then they'll give me props, and then they move on, and then that's it. Versus I haven't ever been taken under nobody's wing. And I always hear about stories about somebody taking somebody on, tour and all this other shit. And the closest thing I had to that was this cat named Samuel Biden. And I don't even think that was like a Big Brother situation. I think that was just it was a cool situation because it gave him a person to hang out with and to be cool under him, and it kept him company, while he was driving those long ass drives to like San Diego from Los Angeles, and from Los Angeles to the Bay Area and shit like that. So,
So, best advice anybody's ever given you?
Best advice anybody's ever given me. Just be resilient, and it's about completion. It's about completion, not perfection. Like what we discussed earlier, Country Wayne, completion.
Yeah.
Completion, execution, not perfection.
You know what I learned? Something has to be punched into the GPS. You can always change the course, but something has to be punched into the GPS. Because without that, dude, you just flapping in the wind, man.
Yeah, you have to. And that's that. What you're saying, it also is. I think it may be derived from, but it's just like this military term. This military saying that I heard, where it's I forgot what it is, but it's basically where the general, right, sends troops out. He knows they're not going to execute things the way that they would plan on executing them. He knows that things are not going to go the way that he wants them to go, how he written them out, how anything. But he gives them key things that need to happen. No matter what, this guy's got to die, or this guy's got to be taken in. Whatever, however you can get it done, do it. So it's basically like you just said with the GPS thing. It's just about knowing what needs to be done ultimately, and if you can do the other things in between, do them. If you can't, don't worry about it, because the focus is this.
Yeah, nah, that's dope. So, what would your bio movie be called?
Revise and reflect.
Okay. All right. Who
And,
play you?
who would play me?
Yeah.
John Boyega could play me. He
Hey
did good in
man,
there.
that
He did
guy got
good.
range, man. He was playing the
Hella
dude
range.
Watts. He was playing the dad and what he was DeAndre. I don't know if DeAndre Bonds was his son or who was the father. I don't know who was the father, but that boy can act. You know
He got range. When it comes to the English invasion, he's way better than my boy from Snowfall. No disrespect.
You know what though? A lot of people with the guy from Snowfall, a lot of people resonate towards a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're a good gangster, bag, just whatever. And I think that, you know, him being in that TV show and it being about, you know, black man selling crack, coming up and then falling off, which, you know, I saw some interviews with Rick Ross about the ending and all that kind of stuff. Cause you know, it was basically John Singleton.
Loosely based off of him, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it was crazy because everybody was kind of like cheering the fact, like they got, I won't say they cheered it, but people kind of got off on the fact that, oh, he was balling, he was like up here, and then the dude's just an alcoholic on the street, homeless, and just like whatever. And it's kind of like, just like, man, come on, man. Come on. Don't cheer that. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't like it because for all his intelligence, for all his brains, he really unraveled at the end. And he never, it seemed like he never came back.
People got off on that though. They got into it. It was like that was like,
oh, well, I mean, that shows you where we are as a society and how ingrained white supremacy is in all of us.
They cheered
to laugh and be happy that he made the same sacrifices and did the same moves as his white counterparts, but he took the hardest fall is crazy, to the point where the CIA didn't even care about watching him no more. It was like, this nigga's finished.
You know what?
Because they knew where he was.
Yeah.
Didn't care. Remember he said when he was in the house, he was like, they came knocking. I told the motherfucker, stop watching me. It was like, this guy's a crackhead. Look how dirty he's not coming back from nothing. Let him rot. But they stayed chasing after other people because they figured, oh, they must have the money or they must be okay. And it was, and it sucked because when it comes to like black people, that showed like the CIA and the government just didn't want people to be okay, when it was so many of their white counterparts that were dealing drugs and stuff like that would go off into another country, change their name, have a new ID, and be
another
left
city,
alone.
Another state. You know what I'm saying?
Like even then, and be left alone.
Period. Yeah, no, that's facts. That's facts.
You know, but when it came to black people, they wanted to make an example, so no other black person would follow in their footsteps. You know, one of the funniest things recently that I saw was that I found out was that movie. There's this movie called I forgot, it's a comedy, but it's got Jennifer Aniston in it, and she plays a woman with this other guy, and they're trafficking drugs, but they're pretending to be a family. It's a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
They're trafficking drugs from Mexico over across the border, because the cartels and the border patrol do not mess with all white nuclear family unit families. Yeah. So that was the plot of the movie, and the movie, people liked it. It's funny. They got a lot of funny moments, but I looked at it as like, yo, this is fucking cold, man. It's just like how now all the white people that were doing weed illegally cleaned up their act and became growers and everything legally. So they were still doing it.
Disproportionately.
They were doing it, but they were able to clean themselves up to where you have these companies that are official companies now.
Official. Yeah.
And you can't bring them up on charges. You're not gonna arrest them. You're never gonna see their face. And they own acres and acres of green, and they don't have to burn it up. Like, you know how when the government seizes, when they catch you or they try to arrest you or they seize you, they make you burn up all your land.
Or destroy it. Yeah.
You destroy it. But these guys, they good.
Yeah.
And there's still black people in jail behind that were selling like nickel bags and shit.
Nah, that's a fact.
So that's what I got out of it, and that's what's messed up about it. You know what I mean? Just like, and I'm gonna bring it back to the strike again. The strike wouldn't matter if it was just black and Mexican writers not getting in the writers' rooms or not getting residuals. But since it's these white families and just so happen to be, you know, people that, you know, have certain religions.
Yeah.
They're listening. Now it's an argument. Now it's, you know, because these people are related to some of these people who are getting all the money. That's how they know. Because no black person would ever know what's going on in the office or the pockets of somebody in the top of Warner Brothers. You know how they know that? Because they was probably arguing at the dinner table, or one of their cousins or somebody that was fucking went in the office and saw and exposed. Ain't no niggas.
Yeah, they were like, man, I'm gonna blow the whistle. I'm gonna drop dime on this.
Somebody blew the whistle. It wasn't niggas know about the whistle. We don't even know where the whistle is.
Hey, that's a fact. Advice for your past self.
Advice for my past self would be just to focus on consistency. Focus on consistency, focus on completion. Stop stopping because things aren't perfect. Stop stopping because you're not receiving the energy that you wish to receive at that moment.
All right. How do you see social progression going in the next 2 years?
I see it as, well, in the next 2 years are what, 10? Would you say 2 or 10?
In the next 2 years.
2 years. I see it being the same. I don't see too much mental growth with the people. I think they'll be talking about the same things, but different social situations.
All right.
So right now we're still talking about relationships. People are still talking about eating butt. People are still talking about strippers. People are still talking about cars and whips and all that shit and selling ass and all that other stuff. They're still talking about the same things they've been talking about the past few years. And the only thing that'll change what they're talking about is if something cataclysmic happens or something so out the box that you can't ignore it. Which would be like, oh, if aliens have already been exposed. They showed that over the COVID shit. Nobody gave a fuck. They was just like, oh, COVID. They had footage and everything. I don't know if you remember it, but they had footage on CNN.
Oh yeah, no,
From a naval ship. A naval ship caught it. And them niggas was like, yo, if ET can't get this mask up on my face or give me another stimulus check, fuck them.
Hey, that's a fact. So with that being said, man, this was a dope conversation, dude. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you, bro. You gave me some great questions to run off of.
That's dope. So what you got coming up, man? What can we look forward to?
Shows and the stuff that I'm working on, the projects that I'm working on, I want to finish them before I start to promote them or even speak on them.
Okay.
So the next show I got coming is on July 30th. I'll be at the Fourth Wall Comedy Cafe up in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard, and that's on my Instagram. And then after that, the next day I'll be at the Hollywood Improv. The next day I'll be in the Pasadena Comedy Club. And yeah, we just got shows, man. Shows coming. And yeah, I'm if you're looking to see me or come catch me, you can. My Instagram is vonroburts. That's VONROBURTS. And that's the same for everything. All my social medias are the same under the same moniker. Von Roberts, that's VONROBURTS.
Nah, that's dope. Well, yo, man, I appreciate everything. This has been another episode of Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. Peace.
Man, thank you for having me, man. And I still got the mug too.